The EU could aid Nicola Sturgeon in her UK breakaway bid as Boris Johnson struggles to oppose IndyRIF 2 without contradicting his arguments for Brexit, Express was told. Prime Minister Johnson will struggle to credibly argue against Scottish independence given his push for Brexit, as Ms Sturgeon could use the same arguments he put forward during the Brexit referendum as reasons for Scotland wishing to quit the UK, it has been claimed. The Scottish election campaign will later this week get underway, with Ms Sturgeon readying to use the May ballot as a springboard for IndyRIF 2. Meanwhile, Mr. Johnson has vehemently opposed a second vote on independence, with a series of fluctuating independence support polls in recent weeks strengthening his opposition. He has drawn up a 5-step plan to stop independence, and is willing to launch legal action, according to the Scottish Secretary Alistair Jack. However, Paul Street Pierre Plamondon, leader of the separatist party Québécois in Canada and a vocal ally of Ms Sturgeon, told Express.co.uk that Mr Johnson would find it near impossible to credibly argue against independence given his Brexit stance. The EU, in pushing Britain away, could therefore provide Ms Sturgeon with a template to snap back at Westminster's attempts to block Scotland's breakaway. In his first interview with a British or European media outlet since becoming leader last year, Mr. Street Pierre Plamondon said, "From Quebec's standpoint, what we see in Scotland, and in Scotland's situation, is a historical window for independence. I don't see how Boris Johnson and Westminster will be able to credibly argue fear connected to independence just after the Brexit vote and all the arguments that were put forward by Johnson himself. People may change their mind in the few days before the ballot because of last-second arguments of fear, but overall, what we saw from the 1995 Quebec vote, and what we would expect from the current context where it's very hard for Johnson to come up with credibility with those arguments, is that the overall process of the campaign would favour leaving the UK. The Brexit case in itself shows that the benefits of deciding for yourself are a lot higher than the potential risks." Some of Mr. Johnson's arguments for the UK to leave the EU included reclaiming sovereignty over decision-making, taking back fishing waters, as well as investing money in Britain previously sent to Brussels.